Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm T with Teresa H Creates, and this is going to be a stash busting, hopefully, video. So earlier this month, I pulled out my Carta Bella Spring Market collection, and I used it to make a sheet load of cards. And I decided that while I was shopping my stash, I needed to go ahead and do some stash busting because I purchased this in a haul and it was just some scraps, and then not realizing that I already had a collection, and I obviously started some cards here that I did not finish. And then at a destash, I bought the collection again. So I actually I've had this 3 times already and I haven't finished a single one. So today I'm going to tackle using up these scraps that I have and hopefully bring you along for this journey. I don't have a clear picture in mind. I just want to kind of see what I've got. I'm going to leave the complete collection in here. I'm not going to touch it for now. And I'm going to set that aside. To go along with these two bits, I also have some just cardstock scraps, some stamps for sentiments, and just a stack of solid cardstock so that I can mat these if I choose to. So let me set this aside. So first things first, I guess we need to go ahead and sort this so we can see what we've got. I'm going to start with this bag. So if you have a partial collection or if you have a lot of scraps for a collection, I encourage you, if you're a card maker, to pull it out and go on this journey with me. Let's see if we can do some stash busting here. So the first thing I'm going to do is separate this. I've got this little tray. I'm going to hold some scraps in there. I'm going to put cut aparts to the side. I'm going to put larger pieces over here. And then I'm going to put long strips to the side. So let's sort this. I think that I am going to speed this up and I'm going to do this process in fast motion so we can get through it very quickly. All right, now I've got everything separated in both of those collections. So I've got all of my cut aparts and little fussy cuts there. I've got my smaller scraps, my larger scraps and solid sheets, and then I've got my paper strips here. I'm going to open this up and see what I was doing because I don't really recall. So that little kit does have some completed cards. So these are the cards that I did ages ago. So we'll set those aside. And I will put the scraps in there that go with that. But I do like these flowers. So I think that I am going to use those in maybe some of my other cards. So I'm going to leave those out. All right, so let's look at what we've got. Let's start with these guys. I think that we could make some A2 size card bases with these strips. I am going to go ahead and cut them down so that they're all pretty much probably about that width, maybe a ½ inch. And then some of these are the branding strips, so I've really got to cut them down a little bit more. They aren't going to be uniform, but I'm going to go ahead and cut them down. Then I'm going to take some of my cardstock scrap and I will trim it down, and then we'll make some card fronts. I'll be right back. Okay, I've got all my strips trimmed up, and then I wanted to just go through one of these. This is not new. I just wanted to go through one. I cut down some bases here, or some card fronts in this cream color, and what I'm going to do is now attach these. So I use A2. I do a A2 size cards. That's what I traditionally make. It's what I prefer. So I trimmed these down to 4 by 5 1/4. Because an A2 size card base is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So I'm going to put my tape runner on there, and then I am going to start putting these on. I tried to split them up so that they were the directional ones I put to the side. So I'm going to try to do some of these horizontal and then some vertical, and I might try a diagonal. That would be nice. Let's get some polka dots. I'm going to do one of these on camera with you, and then I'll do the rest of them off camera so I can breeze through this and you're not having to watch me fiddle with it. That's a lot of stripes. Let's get something else in there. Look at these guys. I love those boots. Love those rain boots. Then we'll get this nice pink in here. You do want it to go over the edge a little bit. Some of these longer strips that you see here, when I trim them off, I'll keep those. I'll put them back in the stash. All right, now one more, something thin. Let's get another black piece of this guy. I'm gonna put some glue across this bottom here just to make sure it gets stuck. This is a great way to use up a lot of your strips. All right, and then we will trim, and a lot of these will be long enough that I'll be able to use them on the next card. So I'm going to trim it down, and we'll see what we've got. Great way to use up scraps. And there we go. You can see where mine was, where I cut crooked. It's okay. They're handmade. They don't have to be perfect. And plus we'll put a focal point in there. So here's a card base here. I do a top folding card base. It's just what I like. And then there we go. It'll fit right on there like that. Pretty, huh? And I think that I actually started it off a little crooked, and then that's what got me going. But anyway, I'm going to do the rest of these off camera, and then I'll be back to show you what I've got. Look at the cute little cards I was able to make. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So I've got 10 of them. I was able to do 10 backgrounds, and you can see I did some of them are horizontal. And this one, because the branding strips, because they're so thin, it was hard to cut down. So I left the little cream border on it and then put them in. So that's why the spacing is there. So I thought that was really cute. And all I had left from all of that is these 3 branding strips. That was it. I used everything else. So the vertical, let me see, horizontal. There's more horizontal, there's another horizontal, there's another horizontal. It's definitely the easiest to do. There's another one, and then here's another horizontal, and then I did 2 vertical and then 1 at a diagonal. So the only thing is that these are card fronts. I don't actually have them on bases yet, which kind of leads me to my next project. Before I do that though, I need to put something here, and I'm not sure what I want to put there. I was kind of thinking of putting one of these flowers to kind of make it pop, but I don't know. I don't know if I should do that or if I should put something else there, but I don't know. You let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. And okay, so I went to my drawer to grab some bases, some card bases to put these on, right? Because I make my own, and apparently I didn't have any made. The only thing I had in there were some slimline cards. So those were 3.5 by 8.5. Slimline just really isn't my thing. I tried some for Christmas a couple of years ago, and I just don't care for them. Now, the mini slimline are cute, and I'll do those, but these were the larger slimlines. So like I said, 8.5 by 3.5. So I left them at 3.5, and then I trimmed them up to 3.5. So these are 3.5 by 3.5. And then I had, these were the little scraps left over. which is perfect. So I am going to use these for sentiments. I've got those stamp sets there, and then I'm going to go through this scrap, and I am going to cut down card fronts for these. And I think that I could get quite a few from these, and I'm going to make a bunch of 3.5 by 3.5 cards. So let's get started. I'm not sure yet how. So look, I just grabbed these right off the top, and they're already stinking adorable. I don't know that I want something with a lot of pattern on it. So these are really cute. So let's see. I don't know if I'm going to do top folding on these because they're such little cards, or if I'm going to do the side. I don't know yet. I usually do top folding, but I kind of think with the little cards like this, it's really cute to have them, you know, open from the side. I think that that's what I may do. I don't know. Maybe I'll do a combination of both. But anyway, I'm not sure if I'm going to end up matting the back of them and then putting these on, or if I want to use as much pattern paper as possible and actually just put these on there directly and then use the matting layers for that. I think that's what I'm going to do. That is what I'm going to do. So if this is 3.5 by 3.5, I want to cut my papers down to 3.25 by 3.25. So let me go ahead and make some cuts. So I was able to get 3 card fronts out of those pieces that I picked up just laying right there. And I'm going to go ahead and put those in my scrap bin. And then let's see. So I think they're cute. I think it'll be cute. They're just simple little note cards. You know, sometimes you're giving a gift and you just want just an easy little note card you can attach to it. A real quick thank you, something smaller. And I think that these are perfect. So I'm not going to worry about matting these. I'm going to mat the sentiments that I decide to put on them though. So let me go ahead and see how many I can get from some of these scraps, and I'll put some together and I'll be back to show you the results. Look at these little cuties. I ended up being able to make 10 of them. Aren't those cute? So just cute little note cards, or just, you know, little cards to put on a little gift for someone, just a small little note. And I was able to get 10 of these, so I will put those aside. And then I still have, of course, tons of paper left. So my thought is I still have some of these larger cut aparts. Some of these larger ones here and here and here. And I still have some of the small ones left. I don't know that I'll be able to really do much with those, but I do have some of the, I guess those are the larger ones there. And I'm going to see if I can't just do some larger cards with them. So I've got some pieces here that I think might work. I'm going to have to get, let me see, if I've got 5.5 by 4.25, well, I'm going to need larger pieces. That one is not bad. I think I could get a card base out of that. I could definitely get a larger card base out of that. I might be able to get 2 out of that. I think I might be able to do, I think I might be able to get a card base out of that. And I only need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that'll make 5 more cards. This one is too small. I bet I could piece a couple of these together though to get another card base. So 1, 2, 3. And I think I can piece a couple of these together. What do you think? Maybe this and this? Let's see what else I've got. I'm hesitant to go into that larger paper yet. That's really pretty. I can get a card base out of that. You know what? I've got enough here that I can get 5 card bases out. So I'm going to cut those down to size. So I am going to use those larger pieces as the fronts of my card. Oh, and there's another one. I absolutely love this. I think this is probably one of my favorites in this whole collection, this little image here with the little rain boots. I think that's absolutely adorable. Okay, so I only need 5, but I think that I can cut these down and get some nice card bases out of these for the larger A2 size cards, and then I'll be able to use these sentiments on those. So let me go ahead and cut these down, and I'll be back to show you what I've got. All right, I've made some cuts, and I wanted to go ahead and assemble these with you just to show you how easy it is to, you know, put these together. If I'd kept them together, that would have been fantastic. But I was just making a bunch of cuts. I love tags. I always round the corners, though. I'm going to round the corner of this one. And I think I have another one. I do. All right, I'm going to round the corner of this one as well. And I think that I should get some seam binding ribbon. I have a couple of different shades just to see. I don't know. I think I might go with the green. All right, go ahead and punch the little holes here. And of course, the approach on this would be completely different if I was starting with a brand new pack, you know, and I would probably start with some sort of system for cutting them down, like instructions, maybe a Kendra's card challenge or something like that to start with, to make a lot of really nice big cards. But because I started with smaller scraps, I started with smaller cards, because usually your cards are going to get smaller. And I actually started backwards. So I started with the, you know, the strips, which is usually like the last piece of it where you're kind of piecemealing things together. I started with the strips and then made the smaller cards, and now I'm working my way up to the bigger cards. So that's a little bit backwards. But again, I, you know, was kind of just working with what I have, and that was scraps. So sometimes you got to do it a little bit differently. All right. I wanted to ink those up so that way I'd have some contrast. And let me see, are those the right ones? So I think I was going to do this and this, and that one and that one, and that one and that one. Yes? No. Yes. Okay. So I'll set those aside. Let's look a little bit of string. I love this seam binding ribbon. It's so pretty. Which is super easy. Sorry, I was off camera there. Super easy. And then pop that guy down. We'll do the same on the other side. Doesn't need to be quite so long. And through the front. So yeah, don't be afraid to jump in there and start working your scraps, you know, backwards, starting with some of the smaller pieces and then working your way up to the larger ones, and then always looking for the cut-aparts. Starting with the cut-aparts will always make it, you know, a little bit easier. Okay, I kind of want to put this at an angle. So I'm going to put some glue on it as well. And I think I might have that facing the wrong way, maybe. Nope. All right. Pop that down. And then use my... This is the one thing about this crinkle. I'm trying to create it more of a fishtail with it than a slanted look there. All right, I'm gonna try to do the same on this side. There we go. And then I'll put that on a card base as soon as I make my card bases. I need to get on that. I didn't realize that I didn't have any. I do the show us or your sheet load of cards every month. And it's usually at the beginning of the month. And I always just make the number of card bases that I'm going to use for that sheet load. And so I don't really have a whole lot of extras just in there, obviously. And I need to just make the time to make up a bunch of them. Make up a bunch of card bases so that I have them at the ready. All right, and there's another one. Let me put this in here and we'll move on to the next one. So super simple cards. Using your big pieces, your big cut aparts. All right, I did trim this down on both of these. Well, this one I was already trimmed down. The person who had this before did that for me. So that was perfect, but then it fits on this piece here perfectly. And I like all the garden tools in the background. Plant smiles, grow laughter, harvest love. For the gardener in your life. How cute is that? All right. And then this one. So I wanted this to go all the way to the edge. That's why I haven't done anything as far as trimming off the edges of it. But I was thinking that I might, because I do like this wood grain, I might do a border above and below. And I think I am going to. So I'm going to put some glue on this. All right, and then let me find another piece of that wood grain. Kind of helps to see what's, oh goodness, that didn't help. All right, let me see if I've got another piece of wood grain. I should have lots, and I do have lots. All right, so let's see. I used this guy, we'll trim them up. I love my border punches. They take up so much room and I keep them in a drawer, but I will never get rid of them. They're just too quick and easy, you know, just too quick and easy. And of course, dies work. I've got some border dies and they work, but you've got to pull out the embossing folder and the embossing machine and, you know, all of that. And so sometimes it can be a bit of a headache. So the punches, even if they are a bit of a storage nightmare, are so much quicker and easier. So I will never part with mine. If you ever see any on sale and you're a new crafter, they can really add a lot to your cards, your journals, whatever it is that you make. So I would encourage you to grab those up, snatch them up. How cute is that? All right. I don't know how much I'm cutting off, so I guess we're just gonna do the whole thing, and if I've got a little bit of glue on the back, then I've got a little bit of glue. All right. I like the contrast of this black floral paper. I'm trying to center it. There we go. All right. Trim off these edges. And then there we go. There's another card. So let's see what we've done. We've got 10 of these small 3.5 by 3.5, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, what is this, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 and 10. And then 5 of these guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So 25 cards. And that was pretty quick. And we did that all with scraps. I still have some larger papers and I still have lots of scraps left. I think that to finish this off, I will choose a Kendra's card challenge, and I'll come back and do that in my next video and see if we can just finish this off for good. All right, if you have any comments or questions, please leave them down in the comments section. I appreciate you spending some time with me, and until next time, bye.